Hello and welcome to Outdoors and Nat. This is our final video on navigation, and we're going to look at how to not get lost, or how to stay found, or how to find oneself if you did get lost. So let's get started on this video. Alrighty, so our solution to staying found is to not get lost in the first place. And there's a few things that we'll run through on how to do that. The second part is that if you do get lost, you don't want to get lost any further than you already are. And so we're going to do the same things that we are when you think you're lost as to when you are definitely lost as well, to work out our position and help us in this situation. The overarching principle of if you are lost is to not lose the position that you've already found yourself in. So if you went off track, say, and you became a bit lost, well, then you don't want to get even more lost trying to find yourself. The first one we're going to do is observe, and we're going to look around our surroundings and try and identify key features in the landscape that we could then translate onto a map or help us define our position. The next one is that we're going to check that these are the features which we think they are on the map and in our landscape. And so we can try and use some compass bearings. We could walk a little distance in either direction to confirm these things. And so that's part 3, is to confirm our checks that these are the features that we're looking at. And then the final part is to be flexible about where you think you are. If you've walked further than you are, and then you try and find yourself in this further location, you can often use a bit of confirmation bias and actually find yourself at that point, but really you're at a different point. So keeping your mind open as to, oh, did I walk too far? Did I not walk far enough? Did I walk a bit to either side? And just try and work out the things that you confirm to work out your location. So observing your landscape, checking what features should be there, and then confirming that those features are the features that you're looking at, and then finally being flexible just to, to check that that actually is what you're looking at on your map. So to stay found, what we want to do is to observe our location all the time. And the more observant you are in checking your location and just being observant of features, track junctions, and the landscape and how it's changing, the less likely you are to miss something and therefore get lost as a result of that. The next part of this is to check that these are the features that you're running into as you're walking along the track. So if I'm walking up here, I want to just confirm that I'm walking on a track, or if I'm walking off a track, I want to confirm those features as I run into them, and then I'm ensuring that I'm staying found over the course of my walk. The few causes of getting lost and getting really, really lost should be pretty difficult at this point in our navigation course. So first of all, I've been walking along the track here, and I come from this side, and then I've got to 2 unexpected junctions. There's one there, and then if I turn around, we have another unexpected junction on this side. And so what can I do to help me work out my position in this situation? Well, first thing I'm going to note is that I know where I came from. So I was in a known position over there, and I can always go back to that known position. That's the best source of information for staying found, is so to know where you've come from and therefore be able to go back and return to that known location. So we call that backtracking. The next thing that I want to do is to think about what I'm going to expect to see in the future, and then I can choose the track which I think fits that the best, and then as I walk along that, I'm going to confirm those features. If I don't confirm those features, well, then I want to backtrack to where I am here as my last known location. And so backtracking is a really good tool for helping us just choose and make those quality decisions about what direction to take. And it doesn't have to be on a track. It can be just in the off-track bush where you think the landscape is looking really similar, and so you're going to choose a particular pathway and look for the confirming features. And if those features are not confirmed or they seem a little bit out, then you definitely want to come back to where you last were, because that is a known location. So never losing the ability to go back to where you were before is a number 1 rule for staying found in the outdoors. So the few kind of common ways that people get lost is to either walk too far or not walk far enough. But again, if you know where you've come from, then you can always go back to that particular point. So you're not really truly lost, you're just a little bit unsure as to where your progress is up to on your particular path. And we can use those confirming features in that process to ensure we progress our walk or journey in a particular direction. So that's the backtracking kind of thing. The next one is that if we don't observe our constant location and we can't tell where we are behind us, and we also don't know what's meant to be in front of us, well, that becomes a lot more tricky, and that's when we'd consider ourselves to be pretty truly lost at that point in time. So what are we going to do then? We're going to stop, have a little rest, and reassess the whole situation. Ideally, the first step would be to try and backtrack your location and find out where you came from and confirm that one. The next one is to find maybe some key features in the landscape that you could identify and then confirm your location using those features. So that might mean going a bit in a different direction, but again, you always want to come back to that location which you found yourself and recognize that, oh, I'm a bit lost here. So we're always coming back and knowing what's behind us in our progress so we can come back to where we were, and that way we're actually expanding the area that we are understanding and eliminating options for where we could or couldn't be based on our progress and what you can explore in the landscape around you. So you've been lost for a little bit at this location and you tried to do some reassessing, trying to work out where you were, but you're still stuck. The next thing that I would turn to is generally some kind of more modern form of technology, a GPS location, maybe using your phone or some kind of app to help you out. And that can just give you some confidence about where you are. And you want to use that in conjunction with our other techniques that we've looked at for staying found and the landscape and the expectations of what you should see around you. Once you are lost, it becomes very difficult to be as rational as possible. And so we really want to try and retain that rationality for what is possible in your location. So you don't want to start looking at, say, a location which, you know, it seems to be confirmed, but it's actually 5 kilometers further than what would be possible for you guys to have walked to or to have traveled to. And so the same again goes, if you've been walking for half an hour, you're likely to be ruling out locations that were within 500 meters of your starting point for that. So really draw a circle on your map and work out what is a rational place that you could be, and try and exclude the areas that you can't be on that map. And then we're going to work to confirm the locations where you might be able to be in that space. All right, we're still lost at this location and we're getting pretty desperate now. The next stage that I would recommend is to find a feature that is totally unmissable in the landscape. And this will depend on your situation, but if you have a road, say that is 2 kilometers away in a particular compass direction, well, then I would just make a beeline for that road, or a river, or some point where you can exit your walk or journey there. So also pre-planning this is an excellent way to be able to stay found and know, oh, what are my exit options before I get in a position where, oh, I think I'm a bit lost, and then you actually do get a bit lost, and then you get really lost, and then you can be like, all right, I just need to head in this direction for X amount of kilometers, and then I will come across a known feature that will find me again. And you know, it's not ideal to do this, but that is a kind of second to last resort. The very last resort is to call in external help, and you can use a range of communication equipment based on your location to help you do that. And then staying put for your location there is what you need to do. Make yourself comfortable, ration out as much as you can so you can last for, you know, a day or so, depending on how remote you are in the landscape. And so when we call for help, I would generally expect, in Australian situation, about 3 hours before you're getting that external help arriving to you. That's a pretty good time frame from my experience. And so you do have quite a while for those services to come to you. It's not like you're going to get picked up by a helicopter inside an hour. That would be pretty remarkable, but 3 hours is probably an average time frame, I would say, for most locations, depending on the weather, the conditions, and whereabouts you are, how easy it is to access. You might adjust that to be further out. Your task for this video is to walk off track in difficult terrain, and so that can be either thick bush or it can be steep and unrelenting environments. And so just working on those skills and working on introducing yourself into more complex and more difficult navigation situations, again with good planning, so you have good backups for exiting that scenario and how you can help yourself there. So starting to get a bit further out and a bit more adventurous in our navigation here. So that's your task for this video. The next part is to check out my playlists and other videos and leave a comment. Let us know what you thought about the series, anything I missed or you could think could be improved, and I'd love that feedback. So do leave it in the comment section or send me a message, that kind of thing. Have a great outdoor adventure, and thanks for watching Outdoors with Nat.